Welcome to my presentation on ways to help your child improve their abilities. I'm so happy to share with you about how our brain works and share ways that you can help your child improve and increase their intellectual abilities. Before we begin, let's take a moment to go over what you will be able to do after completing this workshop. You will be able to help your child understand, apply, and reflect on the following three learning practices that help strengthen and build intellectual abilities: growth mindset, deliberate practice, and memory cues. We have been brought up to believe that our IQ or intelligence is something that is set at birth, but this is not true. Today, we will prove that the prior belief that one is born with a set IQ or intelligence is not necessarily true, and will cover three strategies that are proven to help build one's abilities. These strategies are having a growth mindset, deliberate practice, and using memory cues. Take a moment to think about this multiple choice question below. Pause this slide and think about which answer is correct. When you think you know the answer, progress to the next slide to check. Our IQ and intelligence is set at birth. True or false? This is false. Average IQs have continued to rise throughout the years, and research has shown that our brains are capable of more. Please pause the video and reflect on this question. Pick up a piece of paper and write a personal reflection. Think about your experience in school or with learning. Were you taught that you could increase your abilities, or were you taught that you were born smart or not? How did either of these notions make you feel? If in your reflection about what you learned about abilities, you answered that you were frustrated, you are not alone. I encourage you to keep following along so that you can have the knowledge that will help you and your child now. There are three main cognitive strategies that help increase one's mental abilities. One way to grow in your intellectual abilities is to have the right mindset. People can have either a fixed mindset or a growth mindset. A fixed mindset is the belief that you are born with the set of abilities that you have, whereas a growth mindset is the belief that learning is within one's own control. To increase your intellectual abilities, one must have a growth mindset. A growth mindset is the belief that you can work through challenges and use feedback to improve. Someone with a growth mindset uses others as inspiration and knows that the effort that they put into something is worth it. They see problems as growth opportunities and seek out answers. They take criticism and use it to grow and get better. They don't give up. People with a growth mindset want to stretch themselves and look for challenges. Another cognitive strategy that can increase one's abilities is practicing like an expert or using what is called deliberate practice. Deliberate practice is a focused, goal-directed practice that takes 10,000 hours or up to 10 years. Think of professional athletes, expert level pianists, scientists, or doctors. They were not born natural experts in their field. They all had to use deliberate practice to get where they are. A final way to help grow your intellectual abilities is to use memory cues known as mnemonic devices. These are tools that help hold information and keep it readily available when you need to recall it. Mnemonic devices and memory cues are crucial parts of metacognition, and people use them regularly. Think naming computer files, to-do lists, or mnemonics to remember others' names. Take a moment to think about this multiple choice question below. Pause this slide and think about which answer is correct. When you think you know the answer, progress to the next slide to check your answer. Growth mindset is the belief that your abilities are set, the belief that learning is within one's control, not effective, gives a false sense of understanding. If you chose answer 2, then you were correct. Growth mindset is the belief that learning is within one's control. Please pause the video and grab a piece of paper to reflect on this question. After listening to this section, have you ever used any of the strategies shared? If so, jot down an example. If you haven't used any of the strategies or are unsure of how to use them, it is okay. In the next section, we will go over how to implement them. The first suggestion for implementation is to actually explain how learning works to your child. If they understand that hard things make them stronger, they will choose the challenges over the easy way because they know that it will help them grow. When students don't have a growth mindset and instead use a fixed mindset, they are wary and seldom go for challenges. Next, your child needs to know that mistakes are okay. In a fixed mindset, students worry more about making a mistake and the disapproval that comes with it, whether it is pressure from their parents or teachers. We need to teach them that we actually learn more from a mistake than we do when we take the easy way out. Another thing to remember with growth mindset is that you are your child's number one cheerleader. Praise their effort, strategy, and improvement that they make. Do not praise how smart they are or how talented they are. In the long run, this will actually harm them. One way to teach your child about deliberate practice is to share examples and stories of experts. Think professional athletes, famous musicians, doctors, or scientists. Discuss the time sacrifice that the person made, the ups they had, the downs, and finally their successes. Your child needs to understand that these experts were not born an expert. They were motivated, took the time, and had the discipline that deliberate practice requires. The second suggestion for deliberate practice is to share that deliberate practice requires a large quantity and a high quality of practice to master something enough to be an expert at it. Remember, it takes 10,000 hours or up to 10 years on average. The final suggestion when it comes to deliberate practice is to make sure your child knows that this isn't supposed to be fun or enjoyable. It is hard work, and they need to be open to receiving feedback or criticism and applying that to continue to grow. On to memory cues. One way to help your child is to share and create mnemonic devices. These will help them hold onto new information and have it ready to recall. An example here that we use every day in math is PEMDAS. Students memorize this and in turn know their order of operations. Another way to use memory cues is to create what we call memory palaces. Memory palaces use images and turn them into memory cues. We do this because we are way more likely to remember a picture than we are words. Try to associate a picture or mental image with verbal or abstract materials. Whether it is a visual of the classroom and where posters are placed, next it could be discussions that were had about those posters. The images will cue the memories. A final way to use memory cues is to use songs and rhymes. To this day, I still know the States and Capitals song that I learned in 4th grade and will recite it when trying to recall a capital. Memory cues like these support recall, and ones that a student creates themselves are even more effective. Take a moment to think about this multiple choice question below. Pause this slide and think about which answer or answers are correct. When you think you know the answer, progress to the next slide to check. Which answer below is not a way to help your child grow their abilities? Teach them to not give up when things get hard or tough? Tell them if something is hard to move on to something easier? Explain that we have to work hard in order to grow. If you chose answer 2, you were correct. We need to teach our children to not give up when things get tough. We also need them to understand that we have to work hard in order to grow. Please pause the video and grab a piece of paper to reflect on this question. After listening to this section, think and jot down the strategies that you can start implementing with your child. Whatever strategies or ideas you plan on implementing, just know it might not be easy right away, but it will definitely be worth it. I hope that after listening to this workshop, one of the main takeaways you leave with is that our intelligence is not something that is set when we are born. We are capable of increasing our abilities when we follow the strategies that were shared. Having a growth mindset, using deliberate practice, and incorporating memory cues are 3 strategies that are proven to increase one's ability. Now that you have completed this workshop, use the next few slides to check your understanding on what you have learned. Please pause for each question. When you are ready to check your answer, push play. Mental tools that help hold materials in memory so that they are ready to be recalled are mnemonic devices, intelligence, fixed mindset, or deliberate practice. If you chose answer 2, you were correct. Mental tools that help hold materials in memory so that they are ready to be recalled are called mnemonic devices. Examples of having a growth mindset are not giving up when things get hard, using feedback and criticism, seeing problems as opportunities, being inspired by others' successes. If you chose answers 1, 2, 3, and 4, you were correct. Examples of having a growth mindset are all of these. Deliberate practice can take 10,000 hours or up to 10 years, is fun, is hard work, and shouldn't be fun, requires feedback and an ability to accept criticism. If you chose answers 1, 3, and 4, you were correct. Remember, deliberate practice can take 10,000 hours or up to 10 years. It is hard work and it shouldn't be fun. And finally, it requires feedback and an ability to accept criticism. Thank you. I appreciate your time spent in this workshop. I also appreciate your continued support and partnership with your child's education.